Thank you for joining me again for Amazon Sellers Breaking News. Today is Monday, July 15th, 2019. I'm CJ Rosenbaum, one of the founding partners of Rosenbaum Familaro, the law firm behind Amazon Sellers Lawyer, where we are what we think the most reviewed law firm on earth, and where we also have the largest depository of free information for Amazon sellers anywhere on the planet, even more than on Amazon.com. Now, what I want to talk to you today is a lot of bad news, but I'm giving you the news that you can make good decisions on how to operate your business and make more money on Amazon.com. So the first news story of the day is the increased suspensions because sellers seem to be relying too much upon their wholesalers and their suppliers. If you're relying upon your wholesalers to confirm that the packaging is up to date, you're not really doing your due diligence and you're opening yourself up to suspensions. If you're not confirming that there's some link between your wholesaler, your distributor, back to the brand, you are also doing yourself a disservice, because if you get that inauthentic or you have a suspension or you need invoices, you want to be able to trace it back. So don't rely upon your distributors, and the same thing for design patents. You need to do your own research, especially if you're jumping in with 2 feet. If you're buying pallet after pallet or truckload after truckload, you need to make sure you're getting good information, and you need to double check it yourself. Second breaking news story of the day, listing manipulation suspensions combined with intellectual property allegations. Now, we haven't seen this before. We're seeing a lot of it over the last week or so, and it's growing. Mostly it seems to be coming from duplicate listings and also putting brand names in your detail page and even on the back end. We've seen several sellers doing this, from getting really bad advice about putting spaces between the brand names as a way of playing the system. As Q3 goes into Q4, you want to avoid doing this. You don't want to risk any suspensions in Q4, even if it suppresses your sales a little bit. But we are seeing listing manipulation combined with intellectual property issues causing suspensions of sellers. We're getting you guys back on. We're getting you guys back on quickly, but I prefer to see sellers taking this information, using it to avoid any suspensions. Okay, third breaking news story of the day, increased restricted product notifications with 48-hour notices. 48-hour notices where you're being told, take your listing down, get off this listing or else, and we're seeing Amazon follow through. So if you receive one of these 48-hour notices, okay, I recommend, if you created the listing, shut it down if you can. If you're selling on somebody else's listing, get off that listing, okay, and take a look. What is on the front end? What is in the back end? And you want to make sure that you're not selling products that are restricted categories, or even in like health and beauty, if you're selling or you're jumping on listings where you don't have permission for like the high-end products, get off before a suspension. And again, we have been very successful at getting these sellers and these listings reinstated, but it is better to avoid the suspension or avoid the listing suspension at all. Okay. Fourth breaking news story is a continued increase in intellectual property complaints asserted by brands for selling products that clearly have a first sale doctrine exception. You're selling exactly the same product and the consumer is receiving exactly the same thing. Warranty, benefit, all that stuff is the exact same. So your sales are legally okay. We are seeing an increase in the suspensions. What we're seeing the complaints increase is by sort of medium-sized brands. Fortnite, if you're watching this, your complaints tend to be nonsense. Our sellers are delivering exactly the same thing as your quote-unquote authorized users, and that word authorized has been used more and more in the complaint system, where you're not authorized to use their name. Now, I want to talk to you a bit about intellectual property law as sort of the fourth story going into the fifth breaking news story. In the news, and I don't really know if you'd call it news, but it's news because some of these brands are making these bogus complaints. When it comes to using somebody else's trademark, whether it's a word or it's their drawing or their logo, there are certain exceptions to trademark violations. One is called the fair use exception. So if you're using somebody else's trademark in education to criticize the product or to criticize the company, in news reporting, or in commenting or making commentary or providing places where people can comment, you are not violating the trademark, even though they may make they may make the allegation. So these are exceptions called the fair use exceptions to trademark violation. Now, I also want to ask every viewer out there who's watching this video to please like it and please share this video. It is important to us to get the word out to as many sellers as possible. There's a lot of bad information out there. So if you like these videos, if you learn something, even if you just take one golden nugget of information away from Amazon Sellers News, please like this video and please share it. Thank you very much for joining me again for Amazon Sellers News. On today, July 15, 2019, I try and provide news to you every single day so that you can make better business decisions to make more money selling products on Amazon.com.